Hello guys and welcome to the full summary and spoilers for chapter 274 of Tokyo Revengers. And the title for chapter 274 is called, No Holding Back. And so you guys in the spoilers, the leaker actually leaked the whole entire chapter, so I will give you guys a brief summary of what happened. In this chapter the first thing we see is more of Shinichiro's backstory, and Shinichiro is looking for the homeless man. After killing the homeless man, Shinichiro traveled back in time, and after that he traveled back to the future. And since he changed the past, Shinichiro thinks that the homeless man should still be alive. However, when Shinichiro went to look under the bridge, he couldn't find the homeless man, and he was nowhere to be found. And when he got back to the bike shop, Shinichiro saw that a robber broke into the bike shop. And this is the moment where Kazutora and Baji tried to steal a bike for Mikey. Shinichiro picked up a wrench, and then he started approaching Baji. And Shinichiro started confronting Baji, and he asked him whose shop he thinks he's breaking into. Baji got scared when he saw that someone else was in the shop, but then Baji realized that this person is actually Shinichiro. However, suddenly out of nowhere Kazutora came up from behind Shinichiro, and he killed Shinichiro by hitting him in the head with a metal pipe. After being hit in the head, Shinichiro's body falls to the ground, and he is laying in a pool of his own blood. Shinichiro suddenly remembers the homeless man that he killed, and he remembered the homeless man's last words. The homeless man put a curse on Shinichiro, and this curse physically manifested as Mikey's dark impulses. And we see that Kazutora is having a mental breakdown, and we also see the dark impulses, and the dark impulses are taking over Kazutora's body. Kazutora says that he didn't kill Shinichiro, and then he says that everything is Mikey's fault. Kazutora is crying, and he is also being completely controlled by the curse, which is the dark impulses, and we can see them surrounding his body. While he is dying on the floor, Shinichiro thinks that his death is just cause and effect, and he thinks to himself that it is karma for killing the homeless man, and this is the moment where Shinichiro dies. This line about cause and effect was also mentioned by Mikey in the last chapter, and he spoke about this when he was talking about the time-leaping power being passed to Takemichi. The chapter then switches to the current timeline, and Mikey is talking to Takemichi, and Mikey says that when Shinichiro died, it was only a couple days after he gave Takemichi his time-leaping powers. And this is why Kazutora is not a time leaper, because Shinichiro already gave Takemichi his time-leaping powers. We see all the Toman members reacting to Mikey's words, and they are all surprised by this information. We also get to see Smiley's eyes for the very first time, and we have never seen Smiley open his eyes even once in the story, but in this chapter he is so surprised that he actually opened his eyes. Mikey explains that the curse was created from killing the Time Leaper, and this curse is his dark impulses, and the curse affected everyone around Shinichiro. And the same thing happened to Kazutora, and Kazutora was controlled by dark impulses too. The dark impulses are eating away at Mikey's body, and they are getting stronger and stronger, and Mikey says that he can't seem to control them anymore. And Mikey reveals that this is actually the real reason why he pushed all of the Toman members away. He says that he had no choice but to leave them because they would have been hurt by his dark impulses. So yeah guys, we know that Mikey pushed away all his friends in order to protect them, and this shows how much he cares about their safety. And this is also the reason why Mikey disbanded Toman. However, after Toman was disbanded, Mikey had nobody to suppress his dark impulses, and because of this, Mikey was being completely controlled by the curse. And when he is controlled by the curse, Mikey always turns into a completely different person, and he becomes a murderer. We see that all the members of both gangs are reacting to Mikey's words, and we also see the S62 generation members, and they are also watching Mikey. We also learn that it causes Mikey's body physical pain whenever he tries to hold back his dark impulses. And when he tries to control his dark impulses, it puts an excruciating strain on his body. In this chapter Mikey is trying to suppress his dark impulses, and because of this he is in agonizing pain. But Takemichi tells Mikey that he can let out his dark impulses, and he explains to Mikey that the whole reason why he created the second generation of Toman is so that he can save him. And then Takemichi says, so release the dark impulses that you have stored in the bottom of your heart please. Takemichi also tells Mikey that he can see the future, so he is the only person who can do this. And then he points his fist towards Mikey, and Takemichi declares that he will defeat Mikey's dark impulses, and he says that he will free Mikey from the curse. We know that Takemichi's future visions have fully evolved, so he is capable of predicting Mikey's moves. We also see Sanzu's reaction to this speech, and Sanzu finally realized that Takemichi wants to save Mikey as much as he does, and this is when we see that Sanzu started crying. Every single time that Sanzu cries, it is almost always related to Mikey or Shinichiro, and in this chapter Sanzu was so moved by Takemichi's actions that he even started crying. And we also still need to see Sanzu's reaction to Shinichiro's death. We know that they had a very close relationship, so I think that Sanzu definitely cried when he heard about Shinichiro's death. Some people think that Sanzu and Takemichi will fight on the same side to save Mikey, and I could see this happening. After hearing Takemichi's words, Mikey closes his eyes, and in this panel we can see that Mikey is at ease because he trusts what Takemichi is telling him, and he also believes that Takemichi will save him. We know it has been so painful for Mikey to suppress his dark impulses, and he is relieved that he can finally let them out. Takemichi has such strong loyalty to Mikey that he is willing to get beaten to a bloody pulp in order to defeat Mikey's curse, and he is determined to save Mikey. At the end of the chapter we see that Mikey decided to completely let out his dark impulses, and we can see them surrounding his body, and this means that he is completely taken over by his dark impulses. And in the last panel that we got in the spoilers, Takemichi is wiping some blood off of his face, and Takemichi is getting ready to face Mikey. And Takemichi says, "Let's get this over with once and for all." Anyway guys, the most important thing we learned in this chapter is that Shinichiro's curse gets passed on to everyone around him, and whenever Mikey is affected by the curse it completely takes control of his body. It also causes Mikey physical pain whenever he tries to hold the curse, and this means that all the times that Mikey hurt his friends was actually not his fault, because he was just being controlled by the curse. During the battle of the three deities, when Mikey broke Takemichi's arm, and when he put Takemichi in the hospital, it was not Mikey's fault, and now we know that he was just being controlled by the curse. And when Mikey gave Sanzu those brutal scars on his face, this was also not Mikey's fault, because Mikey was just being controlled by the curse that Shinichiro passed on to him. And also when Mikey tried to kill Takemichi during the Banten arc, Mikey was also being controlled by the curse at that time. In his message to Takemichi, Mikey even tried to warn him about this, and he even told Takemichi that he can't control himself while he is being taken over by his dark impulses, and it is as if he is a completely different person. And this curse is the reason why Mikey becomes evil in every future timeline, and it is also the reason why he kills his friends. Mikey was scared of the person he would become in the future, and he thought he would hurt his loved ones if he didn't leave. And this is why Mikey pushed his friends away, and this is why he tried to handle everything by himself. Mikey always tried to carry everything on his back, and this is exactly what Draken said he admired about Mikey right before his death. Anyway guys, that's all we got for the spoilers of chapter 274 of Tokyo Revengers. Also let me know what you guys think of the spoilers in the comments below. And like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and thank you for watching.